Hey, what's going on everyone? Missing no VGC here, and today I'll be doing another Kaijudo deck profile for you. This one is on my probably favorite deck I've built so far for this game. But before I continue, I would like to address something I've been saying incorrectly for the last couple of videos. I have been referring to a poll that I had posted on a Facebook group. The Facebook group is not the Rangers Dojo Facebook group, it is the Kaijudo Dojo Facebook group. The Rangers Dojo is the Discord for that group where there is a lot more Kaijudo discussion, deck profiles that people will post, deck building ideas, rulings, and that's also where Modest Duelist holds his tournaments for Kaijudo. So if you're interested in talking more Kaijudo with people, there you go. Those are two places you definitely want to go. Now that I've addressed that, this Kurragar deck began life as a light water nature Kurragar deck. I was inspired to build this after I watched a video by ratmforthewin. He was holding, I believe, a house tournament in Sweden, and there was a person there named Nico who took Kurragar, and I'm pretty sure won the entire thing. It's been a while since I've watched it, but definitely go check out their channel if you want to see some more older Kaijudo stuff. But the video was like really neat. I loved watching like all the interactions that the Kurragar could do. And at the time, I had two Kurragars in my bind. I'm like, I'm going to build something with this. So I picked up my third Kurragar and just got to work building it. And it stayed light water nature for about a year and a half to 2 years. Fast forward to about 2 months ago, if even that, I was at work and the almighty YouTube algorithm was like, hey, you like Kaijudo, you should check out this video of Sammy Huda getting second place at an ARG event playing a Kurragar deck. I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'll do that. And I was watching the video, and the interactions were really funny. And then I noticed that he was playing a lot of Dark. I'm like, man, Dark is really good. I don't know why I'm not trying to play Dark. So that's what we're doing now. So we're going to start things off with 3 copies of Grudge Weaver. It is a 2 for 1,000 blocker with guard, which sounds pretty butts. However, when this creature dies, your opponent has to choose a card from their hand and discard it. So you're immediately starting the game off with some really fast, simple removal, and also a way to kind of deter them from trying to go into your shields early. So you're already starting off pretty strong with the Grudge Weaver. Next, we're playing 3 copies of Aqua Strider, 2 for 4,000 blocker. You already know how good that is. The whole point of this deck is to ramp up as fast as possible to get into your big guys and keep spamming bigger things. So 3 copies of Sprout, since you got to get that mana ramp. This should probably be 3 copies of Full Metal Lemon, but right now it is only 2. It's been doing okay at 2, but I feel like I'd definitely feel a lot better if it was at 3, so I'm going to keep messing with those numbers, and this will probably be at 3 relatively soon. 3 copies of Muktak Lifespark Guard. If you know what Muktak does, it is a 3 for 3,000 that if you have a creature with 6,000 power or more at the end of your turn, Muktak will allow you to take any creature from your mana zone, add it back to your hand, and then put the top card of your deck into your mana zone. So if you have to charge like a bunch of like your level 8, 9, or 10 guys super early game, you can just get them right back mid-game with Muktak. It's crazy. By being able to put a card from the top of your deck into your mana zone again. If you have Kurragar out, you can potentially get 2 Kurragar summons a turn. It starts stacking. You can get just super out of control. And this card is absolutely amazing. I love everything it does with Kurragar. Next, we play 3 copies of Reap and Sow. Drawing cards is good. Getting mana is good. And getting both of them on the same card is really good. We play 3 copies of Bone Blades because really good early game removal. Bone Blades is amazing. 3 copies of Piercing Judgment because tapping is good, bouncing is good, getting both on a card for 4 is really good, and getting both on a card for free is amazing. 1 copy of Mana Storm. I want this to at least be 2. But I cannot find any more copies of Mana Storm for some reason, so this is definitely going to be getting bumped in the future, but not until I can find some more copies. We play with a house ban list, and on this house ban list we find playing 2 Bottle of Wishes to be very fun. To balance out Bottle, though, we hit a bunch of the higher end cards like Haven and Andromeda and stuff like that to 2, so you can't just super abuse having 2 bottles and 3 dragons. Like, that's not fun. But yeah, 2 Bottle of Wishes. My rule for a bottle, because if I'm playing bottle, I'm more likely playing Andromeda. So every time you see bottle, there's usually 2 Andromeda and 2 bottle. But if you were to play open, in order to fix that, just play 1 bottle and 3 Andromeda. And there you go, problem solved. This card I found in Sammy's video, and I thought this card is super interesting. I pulled lots of it because I bought this set like crazy. But I've never actually read this card. So Skak the Stinger is a 6 for 3,000, which sounds kind of lame. But upon playing it, you get the top card of your deck into your mana zone, and your opponent has to choose and discard a card. So getting the mana and you hit a card in the hand sounds really, really good. So, yeah, this can also trigger the Kurragar. It's a really good card, and I'm really glad that I'm playing it because it has led to some pretty crazy things. We're playing 3 copies of Lyra because, as I say in every single video, 3 copies of Lyra. It is the perfect card for any situation, pretty much. We play 2 copies of Wild Strider Ramnith. As I said previously, the whole point of this deck is to ramp as fast as possible and get as much mana as quickly as you can. What Ramnith does, if you're not aware, is before your draw phase, you put the top card of your deck into your mana zone. Then you get to draw, and then you can play another mana. So if you have a Kurragar out, you're getting 2 Kurragar effects off of just 1 Ramnith. You can get this card out early depending on like how much ramp you had previously with like Reap and Sows and Sprouts and stuff like that. So getting this card out like on turn 6 is already pretty good because you're going to start getting like more and more mana, and just like the advantage you get by getting out a Ramnith early is just crazy. But Ramnith can trigger a lot of crazy effects to happen and just ramp you up like it shouldn't. We play 2 copies of Stormspark Blast because Holy Awe is an amazing card. We play 2 copies of Tendril Grasp. I personally hate this card. I don't like playing it. Usually I just charge it. But there are instances where mass removing like a bunch of like tiny blockers that your opponent has could really come in handy. And Tendril Grasp is the almost guaranteed way to ensure that they're not going to be getting those cards back by any means unless they're playing some really weird text like I'm playing. But the reason I hate this card mostly is because everyone in my area plays dragons, and if you're just Tendril grasping away a bunch of birds, you might have well just left the birds there because all the birds do is make dragons easier to summon, so it's like they just have the same amount of mana. This card is more or less a meme, but it's a really fun meme. This is Kivu Ingenious Shaman. It is a 7 for 7,000 double breaker. And his effect is, when you play him, you can choose any card in your mana zone, add it back to your hand, and then put the top card of your deck into your mana zone. So that second part will trigger off a Kurragar. If you were to charge something like a Stormspark Blast or a Haven, something like that, you can just grab it right back with Kivu and have it in your hand for later, for when the situation calls for it. Possibly trigger off a Kurragar on the process, depending on when you play the card. So, Kivu is pretty good. I really like it, and I've been wanting to find a way to play it for a long time, and I'm glad that I found the deck to do that. We play 3 copies of Root Trap because I love Nature Terror Pit. We play 3 copies of Terror Pit because I love Terror Pit. And the rest of the deck is really, really shiny. We play 2 copies of Baron Reality Shaper. This was shown previously in the Fresh Avenue deck. If a creature that you control goes to the discard pile, including him, like if it's banished, you can't like this, it has to be banished from the field. Reveal a top card of your deck. If it's a non-evolution creature, play it for free. If not, it goes to your hand. So you either get a draw or you get a free body, and that's pretty good. We play 3 copies of Kurragar of the Hordes. It is mostly my main focus of this deck because every time you play a card into mana, Kurragar will activate and will allow you to almost do the same thing as Baran. You reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a non-evolution creature, you play it for free. If not, it goes to the bottom of your deck. So you don't get the free card no matter what, but this is a lot easier to resolve or to activate than Boron, because you can put mana in your mana zone at any time, but you can't guarantee that you can kill something or that your opponent will kill something in order to activate its effect. But Kurragar is pretty nuts because not only have 12,000 power and Triple Breaker, but its ability can stack. So if you were to have 2 Kurragar out and you use Sprout, you'll get 2 Kurragar effects for just 1 mana. So things can get pretty crazy pretty quickly. This card is also a meme, but it kind of breaks the deck. We play 2 copies of Cordia the Soul Tyrant. This card I always thought was like, just kind of funny, but I would never seriously play it in anything. And then I, discovered my love for Kurragar. What Cordia does is when you play it, you take every single creature that is in your discard pile and you throw it into your mana. And Kurragar will go off for every single card that you sent. So if you Cordia for 6, you get 6 Kurragar effects. But if you have 2 Kurragars, you're going to Kurragar for 12. And that's nuts. This card is really, really good. It also has another effect, though, that when it attacks, you can target any creature in your mana zone that is level 6 or less, and then play it. So if you were to charge a Lyra from your discard pile, when you attack with Cordia, you can get that Lyra back out, tap something, lock them down, and keep going. It's really, really good. Next, we're playing 2 copies of Squillis Scourge. This is another card we put 2 on our house ban list because bottling for Squillis is disgusting. Because, for those who don't know, Squillis makes both players discard their entire hands, and then it also prevents your opponent from attacking or blocking until the end of your next turn. So there's just nothing they can do, and they start with a hand of 0. So that's pretty disgusting. Squillis is just an amazing card and should not be at 3, in our opinion. 2 copies of Andromeda of the Citadel. We already know why Andromeda is in this deck. Andromeda is an absolutely amazing card. So I don't feel I need to really go into detail on that. We play 2 copies of King Tritonus. I have never really liked King Tritonus. It's probably my least favorite of the 5 monarchs. But in this deck, it's too good to not play. And you already get Trouble Breaker, and it's 15,000 power. But if you're to reveal a Tritonus off of like a Kurragar or something, and you just get it for free, you get a free 15,000 Triple Breaker that gives all your water monsters plus 4,000 and lets you draw up to 5 cards. That's really good. But then on top of that, if you were to play a spell card, you can choose a card that your opponent controls and just lock them from being able to attack or block with it. So that's pretty good. And then the last card we play is 2 copies of Eternal Haven. Also at 2 on our ban list because it's absolutely broken. Side note though, my birthday was 2 weeks ago. And for my birthday, my friend TCG Tamer got me my 3rd copy of Haven that he just took out of his deck and just gave to me. So I have a playset of Haven now for a really neat meme deck that I can show you in the future. And if you're interested in any Digimon content, you should go check out TCG Tamer. I'll link him down below as well. But Haven is, as I say in every video that I mention Haven, is broken. It's really, really good. 10 for 15,500 blocker with Triple Breaker. Boosts all light cards by 4,000. Can't be targeted by anything. And whenever you play it or attack with it, you get to draw a card and then drop a free blocker from your hand. All those words on one card, I cannot think of a scenario where this is a fair and balanced card. But yeah, this is the deck. It is super crazy, super nutty. It's really, really fun. There's so many random things that could happen that can just like absolutely just swing games into your favor. There are a lot of instances where like I've dropped like actually my daughter the other day, we were playing and she had up 2 copies of Kurragar out. She dropped a Cordia, got to shuffle or got to put like 4 cards from her mana zone or from her discard pile into her mana zone, and then revealed like an Andromeda, a Boron, a Squillis Scourge, and then something else. And just like so many things happened. It was really unfortunate time, and she just absolutely destroyed me. This deck is really, really fun. I highly recommend it to anybody who can play it, like can afford it. Like I know this is an extremely expensive looking deck. Oh, it's not expensive looking, like it is an expensive deck. But tell me what you guys think about it. I think it's really fun. It's probably the most fun I've ever had playing Kaijudo, and I've played a lot of Kaijudo in a lot of various decks. Speaking of decks, the next deck that we'll be profiling is Alkadeus Vengeance Archon. It's a light dark control deck. I'm super excited to show off this card because this is my favorite card from Eye of the Storm that we never got. And this thing can really put in a lot of work for just it being a level 2 Vortex evolution. So look forward to that. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out ratmforthewin, TCG player, and if you're interested in more Kaijudo conversation, hit up the Kaijudo Dojo Facebook group, and I'm sure there's various comments everywhere promoting the Dojo Discord channel, so be sure to check those out as well. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.